Senators. Senator Clinton, I am proud to support you in your effort to be the next President of the United States. And I'd like to take this opportunity to explain why. You know, this country, over the last 6 years, has seen significant damage to its reputation abroad. And I can tell you that there is no better person today prepared to be President of the United States from day one to begin repairing those relationships with world leaders. Senator Clinton has traveled the world, understands world leaders, knows world leaders, and has a relationship with those world leaders. And she can begin from the very first day as president to begin to repair the tarnished image that the United States has had under the Bush administration. She has also pledged to end the war in Iraq if the war has not been ended during the Bush administration. And Senator, I appreciate that pledge as well. You know, in order to be president, you have to win an election. And there's no question that this will be a tough election. Hillary Clinton has been tried and tested like no other candidate for president. She is prepared to run a tough race and to win that race. That's another reason why I support Senator Clinton. I support Senator Clinton because Senator Clinton cares about the youngsters who are here today and in this school. This election may be about adults voting, but the reality is it's more about the children's future in this country. There is no candidate for president who will do a better job of creating a stronger and better America for our children than Hillary Clinton. She understands the necessity of the American bargain being restored. The notion that if you work hard, there'll be folks willing to help you and assist you. Whether it's her pledge to deliver on universal health care, which is affordable and of quality, or her understanding of the educational needs of our youngsters. She knows, as the teachers in this school know, that you can't teach to the test. You've got to teach to the children. You've got to prepare them for the 21st century. You've got to instill in them the skills that will allow them to be successful in the future. It's not just about the core subjects. It's also about understanding precisely America's place in the world and the challenges it faces. And I also know, Senator, that you understand and appreciate the significant role that energy security will play, not just in national security, but in economic security. We've seen the beginnings of an economic revival here in the Midwest as a result of our commitment to energy security. I know that the Senator has worked hard in upstate New York to bring that same vision to the people of New York and to the people of this country. Christy and I know a little something about upstate New York. We spent 7 years of our life in New York. We lived in Richfield Springs. Christy taught in Waterville. These are small towns very similar to the small towns in Iowa. Senator Clinton has done a phenomenal job of traveling to upstate New York and begin working with community leaders to build and rebuild an economy in upstate New York. She can take that effort all across this great land. And finally, as a personal matter, Christy alluded to this. You know, in politics, loyalty is a commodity that is rare. It's what have you done for me lately? When you're so far behind in a governor's race in a state that has not elected a Democratic governor in over 30 years, you look for help. There were two people who responded to that call who had nothing to gain by their response. Paul Wellstone, Senator, taught me how to do a parade. He came down and did the West Des Moines parade, and I'll tell you, I'll never forget the enthusiasm he gave to that. But it was Senator Clinton who provided us the assistance and help when we needed it the most. The willingness to do an event for us in Washington, D.C. to lend credibility inside the Beltway to our campaign. The willingness to come out the weekend before the election to do an appearance. And I know there was a reason why we got financial support in the last 3 weeks of the campaign. And there was one person responsible for that financial support that allowed us to get our message out, and that was Hillary Clinton. I don't forget those things. And I don't think we in politics should ever forget what people have done to help us. You gave us an incredible opportunity. And now if we can help you and assist you in giving you an incredible opportunity to lead this nation, we are happy to do it. So I, too, will proudly lend my name as a supporter of Hillary Clinton, and I, as Christy did, will pledge to do everything in my power to convince our friends and our neighbors in Iowa and across this great land to support the next President of the United States, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
am absolutely thrilled and honored to have the endorsements of two people whom I admire so much. As both Christy and Tom said, we have a personal relationship that goes back to Christy's brother Tom, who is one of my great friends and someone whom I miss on a regular basis. He could make you laugh, he could ask a piercing question, he could put you in your place. And I also watched with great admiration the campaign and then the administration that Tom and Christy provided to this state. You know, when Christy called and asked me to do a fundraiser for her husband who was running for governor and was way behind, I immediately said yes. I didn't know anything about the governor's race in Iowa other than we hoped a Democrat could win. But I was more than happy to help Tom and Christy. And then when they came for the event, and when I heard Tom speak, when I heard the passion that he brought to issues that I have worked on my entire life, giving our kids a good start in life, making our schools work for all of our children, providing health care, incentivizing the economy to make sure that it provided good jobs and rising incomes to rural areas as well as urban ones, I just walked away from that first encounter and hearing Tom Vilsack, and I knew he was a winner. I remember going back to the White House and telling my husband, I think I've just heard the next governor of Iowa. And I have told Tom, and I've told a lot of people in the years since. When I came out right before the election, Tom Vilsack gave one of the best political speeches I've heard from anybody in our country. Some of you might have been there. He held up a Big Chief tablet in one hand and a laptop computer in the other. And he basically said, we have to modernize education in Iowa. Now, I grew up next door in Illinois, and I know that for generations, Iowa schools were ranked high. Iowa students performed above the national average. But Tom Vilsack knew that the education system in Iowa, like the rest of our country, needed to be pushed toward the future. And the work that he has done with Christy by his side is really admired throughout our nation. I want to pay special tribute to Christy when it comes to the work she's done on literacy and on behalf of libraries and early childhood learning. She brings the experience of a certified teacher and the passion of a missionary because she knows what it takes to help prepare all of our kids and how we can't just walk away from our obligations to each individual, but also our obligations to each other as to whether we're going to have an economy that will include everybody to be competitive and have a good standard of living. And I really appreciate Tom's leadership when it came to preschool education. You know, a lot of people say, well, that's a nice thing to do. But Tom Vilsack did it and created a program that is reaching more and more kids in Iowa. And, you know, the Federal Reserve Board of Minneapolis just did a study, and they asked themselves this question: what one thing could America do that would make us more competitive globally? And the answer came back: preschool education. And Tom Vilsack was ahead on that. He was also ahead in getting a much higher percentage of the children of Iowa enrolled in the state children's health insurance program, something that I worked on during the White House and was proud to see the Congress pass it, but a lot of states didn't really go at it the way that Iowa did under Governor Vilsack. And I commend him for the progress he made and the fact that so many children in Iowa have coverage. There's still a gap. We still have to do more, but thank goodness for everything he did. And when it comes to the economy, and particularly the agricultural economy, Tom Vilsack knew early on that we needed to move toward homegrown fuel, American-owned fuel. And he has made that a cause that he's taken across our country.